Hello, ladies and gentlemen, Deja Vu here, bringing you to the ace match of the Deja Vu week of the week number 2. Pretty sweet that we're going to get an ace match here. I'm glad that you guys are picking some pretty solid series. This is going to be Leta, of course, or Heidsparkies. Who else would it be? And knowing that they're playing a Terran opponent, they had a lot of options. Stork, very good versus Terran. Jangbi used to be good versus Terran, and now he's kind of so. I'm not surprised that he's not here. And firebathero actually is a very good TVT, or Samson Khan just overall very good versus Terrans. And they have chosen firebathero as their ace, the guy who has not played yet in the series. And I suspect that this is a coaching move by January. That of the big three, I think the plan was not to use one of Jangbi, Stork, or firebathero in the main set and practice them for the ace match here on firebathero. Heidsparkies, you know Leta's coming out. When you have several players that are good versus Terran, it's going to be hard for Leta to practice to play both Stork and firebathero, which would be the two most likely aces. It's really hard in the upcoming days for Leta to really prepare on this map against two players, whereas Samson Khan can have Jangbi or can have Stork practice on one map and firebathero practice on this map, Roadrunner, specifically for the ace match, and really be up to snuff, really be at his best for this game. And I suspect that was Coach January's genius decision. This actually is some pretty smart play here. Actually, firebathero with that opportunity to just practice on this one map, definitely like that. By the way, we do have firebathero is going to be the red Terran, and Leta is going to be the orange or yellow Terran. Didn't see that perfectly. Don't remember. Yeah, yellow. Yeah, red for firebathero and yellow for Leta. So I think I think firebathero is gonna bring his best here today. I think he's got a good opportunity here to come away with the victory. Leta is of course a good TVTer. Both these players are very good at the matchup. I don't even know who I would say I'd really give an edge to. They are both at about the same level. I've said it before that I think the top 3 TVTers are Fantasy, Flash, and Sky High. I would say the next layer of TV tiers would be firebathero and Leta. Those would be and probably really maybe even belongs in that conversation now. That next tier of very good TV tiers. I think I would put really in that next tier with Leta and firebathero. Looks like firebathero actually went for a 14cc. Uh-oh, what? He went for a 14cc. Alright, so he's pulling off the flash, and luckily for him, Leta did not do the fantasy BPS build against him. I don't know if you guys remember this, but I think it was in Winners League playoffs last year, or maybe it was Pro League something like that. It was a pretty significant game if I remember correctly, and it was on Coliseum. Flash went for a 14cc, on their protected base on Coliseum, and then Fantasy went BBS in the middle of the map and just absolutely just annihilated Flash, and it was just like, what are you doing, Flash? Don't 14cc TVT, you're so good at TVT, why would you take that risk, so yeah, pretty yeah, I'll always remember that. And it looks like Leta's actually going to try and put up a little bit of early pressure here with this Marine, and he's going to have to micro it against an SCV, and this SCV is actually doing a pretty good job of keeping this Marine back. Pretty funny here. The Marine does get the victory, and the barracks is up for firebathero, so he should have a Marine out pretty shortly. I don't think Leta's really going to be able to do much damage here. I mean, ideally he would get 1 or 2 more SCVs. I don't see him producing any more Marines, so I don't know if he's really... No, he's not going to be able to get any more SCVs. Looks like Leta just decided to go for an expansion himself, but it's going to be quite a bit later than firebathero, so the ball's in firebathero's court right now. He really has an advantage. He's throwing down a bunker. Maybe this is just because he knows that his factory is going to be a little bit later, so if there was, vultures coming by, he might need that bunker for defensive reasons. Would also, of course, help him if Leta went for more of an aggressive multiple Marine push. That'll help him in both cases. So firebathero playing a little bit safer here, throwing up that bunker. Pretty wise on his decision, and also putting a Marine on his ramp, which is going to help stop a run by. So firebathero definitely has practiced this build, knows what he's trying to do, and is in pretty good shape here moving forward. And he's, getting away with a 14cc in a TVT where your opponent doesn't 14cc is such a huge advantage that I can't. firebathero has to win this game, right? He has to win. How could firebathero lose this game? I mean, he just got away with a 14cc. It's just such an astronomical advantage in a mirror matchup that you have your expansion up. a good, what, minute and a half before your opponent, maybe more. Such a huge advantage. You see a second factory coming up here for Leta. And wow, look at this. Firebathero is going to go for a starboard here. Probably going to produce at least one Wraith, I would say, before he goes for the control tower and the dropship. It is possible that he goes for more of a Cloak Wraith build, but normally when you go for the expansion first, you don't go for Wraiths as early. Sometimes you'll get them kind of in the middle to go pick off dropships and catch your opponent by surprise, but going for them early usually doesn't work so well, just because your opponent, as you can see right now, Leta's going to scout it out, and if you go for those Wraiths, I mean, it's not an economic burden on your opponent, who also now has an expansion to really just throw down an armory and get a couple Goliaths out, maybe even throw down some turrets in time. It's really not too difficult. And you can see Leta throwing down the armory right now, and he's just gonna play this pretty calmly. I think Leta's definitely behind, but I think right now he's playing it pretty calm, and I gotta think he's got something in the mind. He's got some sort of plan here to come back. He knows that he's behind. He knows that if you just sit here and plays a normal TVT, that firebathero has enough small advantages from the earlier CC. Will have enough of a macro advantage that he should wear Leta down. So I think Leta's going to come up with something that he will try to get his try to even this game out. And I am very, very interested to see what it is, since we haven't seen a starport yet from Leta. It's not going to be a Wraith build or a very early mass dropship. Not going to be one of those. So this will be very interesting to see what we've got here. We do have one Wraith, I believe, out already, and a second one is producing. Possibly that could be a dropship. We will see. Probably not the Wraith, because I'm pretty sure I saw Cloaking researching. So I'm going to see at least a few Wraiths here from Firebathero, and we'll see how much damage he's able to do here. He's starting to pick at them now. A couple Goliaths for Leta are actually enraged. Their Cloak has finished. And this Wraith does have one kill already, going for the second kill here. And comset stations are morphing in as we speak. Orbital commands, if you will. And Firebathero just he doesn't look very happy these days. I don't like it when players look unhappy. And I would say two players that have a tendency to just naturally look unhappy are Firebathero and Quanro. And I really hate it when they look unhappy. They just, I don't know, it makes me sad. And I don't know who that is. Whatever. Another Wraith here just continues to pick at them, continues to pick at the SV. He's going to get a third one here. One of the Wraiths has run out of cloaking energy. That was some pretty cool. I love Wraith micro. I love air micro in general. They just keep flying, get a shot off, and keep moving without even stopping. It's pretty sweet. Both players throwing up third bases. Leta's slightly ahead, but certainly not very significant, just a few hundred HP. Firebathero now going for his armory, still working off the two factories with the machine shops. Both players have two factories with machine shops, and Leta now getting a starport up and getting a third factory as well, just to give you a recap on their production situations here. And now we are using these Wraiths. Firebathero is to scout out the other bases, make sure that, cause he knows that he's ahead, Firebathero, and he's wondering what is Leta's plan to get back into this game. What is Leta doing? So he's thinking maybe there's a hidden expo by Leta or something like that. He's looking around, seeing that there's nothing there, and I really think that Firebathero is kind of confused right now as to what Leta's going to do to try and come back in this game. And honestly, I'm a little bit confused as well. I'm a little bit surprised that Leta hasn't tried anything. He's just playing very, very standard. I mean, his third base is up a little bit earlier, so that could be, at least a little something to help even it out a little bit. But I'm still pretty darn surprised here that Leta's just playing this so standard. At least at the beginning here, and a couple of Wraiths are going to pick off this SCV. It's the top left main, I believe that's the main. Yeah, it's the main.